Hello again, I'm Bob Colton. We're continuing our conversations in Charlotte Public Schools. Hollie Auten is with me today. Welcome. And Arts for Youth. What is it and what should people know?
The Arts for Youth program, we started in 2008. This is our 6th year. The goal is to bring in live professional productions for school time performances. So for area Charlotte students to come to, we expand out to the region too. We have schools from Grand Ledge and Eaton Rapids and Olivet and Lansing that also come in. They bus their students in, and
That's great.
Yes, it is. It's a lot of fun, and they see an hour-long performance that's done by a professional touring company. So we offered usually 2 per day. We have a morning performance and an afternoon performance, and it's great fun experiencing live theater with the students, with the young kids, because they just have such a good time.
And how did you get the idea to share this with other school districts?
Well, you know, our schools are big enough that they could all come to one, but because the performances are mainly geared towards certain age groups, we had a lot of extra space, you know, and we decided to make it a regional thing. Aside from possibly Wharton Center, which is in a different county than us, we're the only one in Eaton County that does something like this. So we thought we would share our experiences and share the program with other schools within Eaton County.
And you've got a great facility in the Performing
Sure.
Arts Center and other areas here.
Yes, we do. We're very fortunate to have that. So.
And how are the students reacting?
Oh, they love it. They love it. You know, you sit in the room and you feel the energy from the kids when they laugh, when they see something they like, or they applaud. And it's just a great feeling to be in the room during a performance. And some of them are, you know, the younger students are experiencing it, something like this, for the very first time. It's very different from going to a movie where, you know, you kind of sit there and watch. This is a little bit more interactive, and it's live people on stage. So it's great fun for them.
And so when you talk about different ages, do you target an age or is it pretty universal?
Well, depending on the performance, we have our first performance this year was Little Engine That Could, and that was October 18th. And that is more geared toward pre-kindergarten through probably 3rd or 4th grade. 4th grade gets to be a little bit on the high end of that. So each we try and target elementary. We have brought in some shows that have appealed to middle school and high school. But so for the Little Engine That Could, Earns Her Whistle, you know, where we're targeting pre-K through 3rd grade possibly. And then the one in the spring is Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and that one targets 3rd grade, 4th grade, and up. So
how do you connect with young kids like that in the arts? How obviously you have professionals that help, and they're experienced and using programs that work, but how do you know if something's going to work or if you've made a connection with a kid?
You know, you can tell from their reactions. You know, you can tell the way they smile or laugh, and after the shows, it's so much fun to stand out in the hallway and you hear them saying, "Oh my gosh, that was so cool," or "Oh my gosh, can you believe that?" And so we often ask them what their favorite part about the show was, and a lot of them can spew, you know, several different things that they loved about the show. So you know that you can just see by the light in their eyes, the twinkle in their eyes, that you are reaching them on a different level than they've maybe ever experienced before.
And it really gets them excited about the arts.
It does very much so.
And so do you, at this age level, a lot of kids might not have experienced live performance. How is this different? I mean, kids now are used to technology and television, and so performing arts is kind of a different experience.
Yes, it is, very much so, very much so. We like to help the teachers ahead of time. We provide them with a theater etiquette document that helps them explain to their classes what to expect. In terms of it being, you know, live actors. They're gonna say things. They're right in front of you. It's different from going to a movie, and it kind of gives them the rundown about what the expected behavior is, and it's written in a child-friendly format so that so it's easy for them to translate and explain to their class, and it gives the kids a different idea of what, you know, it's different than going to a football game or a basketball game or going to the movies. You know, you're going to have a different type of of behavior, and it kind of rounds out the whole experience for them.
So just tell us a little bit about what kind of behavior you expect, so anyone watching this or parents watching this can reinforce that behavior with their kid.
Right. Well, we like them to stay in their seats. They can laugh when something's funny to them, but it shouldn't go on and on and on and on. We like them to keep talking to their neighbor or their friend next to them to a minimum, and remember that other people are there to enjoy the performance as well. So by them talking, it might be distracting to other people. We talk to them about, we even mentioned not putting their feet on the back of the seats and not chewing gum maybe in the auditorium, because those kind of things can get messy. And so we have a wide variety, but those are some of the highlights of that document.
So tell us what's coming up in the future. Get people what can the kids expect in the program for the rest of the year?
For the rest of the year?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, we have already done The Little Engine That Could, and we had about 800 students here to see that, and
That's
that was a lot of fun. Yep. Everything is, that one's literature, they're all literature based, so that one was based on the book by Watty Piper that most kids are familiar with. So that one was great fun. We had kindergarten through second grade here. The one in the spring is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, based on the novel that everyone's familiar with by C.S. Lewis. And we expect over 1,000 kids there. So it's going to be a great and interactive and engaging experience for them.
And so how do you plan the Arts for Youth program? Because you always have to top the next show.
I know. That's the challenge. We have some really, really great resources that we tap into. We have developed a relationship over the past 6 years with a few different professional touring companies that we've come. In the first couple of years, you don't know what to expect. You hire a new company to come in and do a show, and you think, oh my goodness, are they going to be as good as the last one that came in? So, but we have a few very trusted production companies, tours that we bring in. They have such a wide range of performances, and then it's a matter of finding the right time frame to bring it in. It's really, the first few years were a challenge trying to get everything to fit in, but it's getting easier, and we're reaching out to different groups now and kind of testing the waters in different areas. And I have two kids I have 11-year-old twins. So 6 years ago, they were starting kindergarten and first grade, and so my focus was, what would my kids want to see if they were to come to a live show like this? So I kind of have to, I think about that in terms of selecting what comes next year.
But that's great. I mean, not only being a parent, but an educator, you can kind of use your own kids as the standard for decision making,
right,
which
exactly,
is great.
Exactly.
And so as you've made these decisions in the past, what have you learned as the program's developed?
We have learned that some shows just didn't work. So we kept
let's
to know
talk
that.
about the successes.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the success. We haven't had too many that didn't work, so we've had much more success. We have increased our attendance over the years, and that's been a great thing. We have people that come to us if they haven't heard yet what we're bringing. They make sure they call us and say, we want to make sure that we know, we're talking about outlying districts, we want to make sure that we know what you're going to bring in, and when it is, so we can plan our trips around that, and we really appreciate that. We've learned a lot about how to move large groups of students from the bus into the auditorium and then back up to the bus again in a very orderly and consistent manner, and we have a great staff of volunteers that assist us with that. So we've learned a lot of things, logistical things, as well as things about what kids like and what they don't like.
Well, so what are they telling you? What are the kids telling you that they like and don't like?
They like familiarity. They like stories that they are familiar with and that they have in their classrooms. So we tend to migrate toward the stories that we know that they're reading, and they like musicals. They love it when there's music and song and dance all thrown in there, and they love silliness. So and you can kind of get a lot of those things in any given show. Yeah.
So if you're out there looking for a musical learning opportunity, Arts for Youth, that's got to be kind of a limited, tough kind of recruitment effort that you get the right show in. You don't want to have something that's unsuccessful or
Right.
be a bad reputation. You want kids to be active. So the challenge really is for you in the selection for what you take.
It is. It all starts with the selection, and it's a process that I'm already getting calls from the companies that we work with regularly on next year. They're already talking 2014, 2015. I said, okay, I'm not quite ready yet to start that, but let me get past the first show in 2013 and we will talk about next year. So it's a process that starts well in advance of the school year and then continues on, in months ahead. So
what do kids learn outside of the etiquette or the experience or exposure to arts? Are they learning something that they can really take back into the classroom or use in their future artistic endeavors?
Well, we hope that all of them get some kind of experience from it that they might be interested in pursuing the arts in the future. They might say, hey, I'd like to do something like that someday. So that's one of the things we hope to take away from it. Not everybody is going to have that. Not everybody wants to be on stage or wants to be part of the arts. But we also hope that the stories have messages about they're values based, or they're all connected to literature. They're all connected to something that they're learning in the classroom. But they might have a family theme that runs through them that maybe puts focus on certain roles within the family, or they all have a different kind of feel to them depending on what the show is.
And really for young kids, you're encouraging them not only for the experience but also to read.
Exactly. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And so how does this excite them? They see the animation in front of them, the real life, and then they go back to the story or recall the story in the
Sure, yeah. I mean, they might say, hey, I forgot about that book that I read in first grade. I want to go back and look at it again. Sure, and they might read it again 2 or 3 times. A lot of times it's not just one story that the musical incorporates. It's multiple stories. So they're not just experiencing one, but many, and they would go back and revisit those and read them again, and and then develop into successful readers and kids who love to read because they've seen it in live action.
And so, if you really start this and energize young people, you feel good about them taking that forward. Some kids are really going to be interested, but some might, have different opportunities that they would pursue. This really sort of instills the arts into their mind and their culture and as an opportunity. And it really is exciting for them, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And when we were talking about starting this program, one of the things that Gavin Smith, who's our facility director, we both said that we had memories of being a child and going with our class to a live performance of some kind. So it's crossing generations. These kids who are going now, their parents have probably experienced something like this, and their grandparents have probably experienced something like this. So, it's a great experience, and they're going to carry it forward as they go into adulthood and hopefully develop a love for the arts and respect for the arts as an adult.
Is it harder now with all of the other technologies available that kids have access to, and not only in movies but also games or other things that take their time and attention?
Sure, definitely, yes.
So what do you do? How do you cut through that?
I think with the technology, as a parent, you have to limit it. You have to set limits on how much they can do those types of things every day, and make sure that they're experiencing other things and not just all the video games and things that are rapid fire coming at them.
If I'm a performer, I think it's going to be hard to do a gig in front of young children. That must be a challenge for the people you bring in.
You know, I think they really, really love it, and they have a, you know, so you have to have a certain kind of personality to do that. But watching their performances, you can tell that it's just pure joy that they bring to every character that they play. Now, the companies that come in are small. There may be 5 or 6 actors, and then some kind of production manager that comes with them. And those 5 or 6 actors might play a total of 12 or 13 parts, you know, in one show. So they get a lot of, they have a lot of variety in their performances, and you can tell just by how they react to the kids and that they really love it. They really love it.
And so what keeps you motivated to continue doing this, Hollie?
You know, I love theater. I have always loved theater. I participate in direct children's theater over in a neighboring town, their community theater program. So it is always, and so that's working with 4th through 8th graders. So this is kind of the same target audience, you know, other than Arts for Youth goes a little bit younger. So I have a strong love for theater, and I want to pass that on and make these opportunities available to whoever I can. And I'm lucky enough that I get to work at the Charlotte Performing Arts Center and have the resources available to do that.
Well, it's great that you've made this program a regional asset. Mm-hmm. So if you had space and you're thinking, well, let's share this, that must have been a dangerous step to take.
Yeah, right, because you never know, you know, if people are going to trust you enough to come over. But we've heard so many, we generally survey after the end of the season, and we hear so many comments back about how much people love our facility, people from outside the district, as well as how organized and methodical our movement of children is, you know.
Well,
we've worked hard at that.
What's the answer to the question, how do you move kids from the theater to the bus?
Well, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? Yeah, it takes a lot of organization and having everyone in their right place at the right time. And you know, the move out is a little bit more chaotic, but the move in, you know, we have it all set up pretty systematically so they can get in very easily.
And so what would you like to do? I mean, you've got, you know, sort of a short-term future for the near term, but what would you like to do long-term with this program?
We would love to we would love to be able to bring in more shows, but especially shows geared toward older students, upper middle school, like 7th grade and up. We have had 1 or 2 that fit the bill, and we have brought those in a couple years ago. So we would like to do more of that. I think to give the experience, to take it on. Don't just stop at the elementary level, you know, take it beyond that. Because everyone should see a live performance.
They should.
They should.
Arts for
Definitely.
Youth. Hollie, thank you very much for joining us. I'm Bob Colt, and we'll continue our conversations in Charlotte Public Schools.